All right, this is file 24-21887-FH. People versus Mark Anthony Reese. We're here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today partially by video conference and partially in person. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayoneto.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alex Bayoneto for the people.
Your Honor, Michael Dagger-Margosian for Mr. Reese.
Okay, and Mr. Dagger-Margosian, where do we stand with Mr. Reese's case today?
Your Honor, I'm asking the court to set this for a bench trial, please.
All right, Mr. Bayoneto, do the people have any objection to a bench trial?
No, Your Honor.
How long do you think it will take for that trial?
I'd say maybe half a day.
Mr. Dagger-Margosian,
Well,
agree with that?
I guess it would depend on the witnesses that the people bring, but half a day to a day.
All right, so let's set it for go with a full day, just so we make sure we have a sufficient amount of time. Ms. Clark, can you give us a full day hearing date, please? Ms. Clark, are you there?
Can you hear me? Oh,
I can now.
okay. October 4th at 9 a.m. backed up to a one-day divorce evidentiary hearing.
October 4th at 9 a.m.
That works for the people, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm in a preliminary exam in district court that day.
All right.
Friday, October 11th, backed up to a day 2 jury trial.
I believe that's Mr. Dagger-Margosian's jury trial.
It is.
Tuesday, October 15th at 1:30.
I'm out of the office. The 11th, should we put it for backup on the 11th? I think that would be okay.
That's fine.
So October 11th.
Your Honor, just so the court is aware, I may be on leave at that point. I don't really know. Just with Ms. Berger's.
Okay.
We can't plan for that, so I don't know if the court wants to go out farther than that or just kind of play it by ear. I will.
I guess I'd leave it to Mr. Dagger-Margosian to make that choice. I'm happy to leave it there with the understanding we may have to adjourn at the last minute, or if you want to go out further and have a more certain date, we can do that.
Judge, I'm okay with pushing it out a little further.
Right. So, Mr. Bayoneto, what would be a good time frame to start looking at then?
The plan was to take four weeks of leave. So if the court is comfortable going into maybe early December, just to be safe.
That agreeable with you, Mr. Dagger-Margosian?
That's fine, thank you.
Okay, so Ms. Clark, maybe start looking in early to mid-December.
Thursday, December 12th at 9 a.m.
That works for the people, Your Honor.
That works, thank you.
December 12th at 9. and let's do a final pretrial. Then on December 4th at 8:15, if that works.
Hey, Judge, I also have a show cause on Mark Reese. His scram unit was turned off on 9/3 due to non-payment. He was mailed a notice to appear for today in person.
All right, so there is an order to show cause in the file for today's date. Mr. Reese, have you received a copy of that order to show cause?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, so the order to show cause alleges that you violated your bond conditions by having your scram unit turned off on September 3rd, 2024 due to non-payment. The maximum possible penalty for a contempt of court, which is what a bond violation would be, is up to 93 days in jail or $7,500 in fines. Mr. Dagger-Margosian, you had a chance to talk to Mr. Reese about this?
Briefly, I don't think the work had been sent to our office though, so I don't have anything, in writing, but I am aware of this situation. Is the unit turned back on at this point?
It is not. I actually checked with JSG yesterday, and it is still turned off.
Okay, so
So
I guess-
We turned that.
Sorry,
we
Mr.
turned-
So
sorry.
Mr. Reese had indicated that it had been turned back on, so had you done something? Well, I don't know, Mr. Dagger-Margosian, before we discuss it further, do you want to have a breakout session with Mr. Reese?
if he wants to speak with me, I mean, frankly, I think it's okay to discuss this right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what was it you wanted to say, Mr. Reese, about it being turned back on or not?
Oh, I
back
say
on, or
that
what's
we
the
got
status?
it turned back on. When I went there, I didn't even know it got shut up. I was aware that I was told it's $5 a day if you're late, and I had to wait to get paid. And then when I went there, he hooked me up to the machine and realized that it had been shut off. So we just called the whoever runs it, we called the woman, and he set it up and turned it back on. Right there, they just told me to turn it back on, and I paid them, and I had to pay like 200 something more dollars to get it turned back on. And
Judge, I just sent them a email, so I'm waiting for a response.
I think it's buzzing on my leg, so.
Okay.
And I know that must have been in the print when I read it, but it had been a while since I read the terms, and I did not know that it would be turned off at that by being that late. I was just aware that it was $5 a day if you were late, and I was waiting for a paycheck. So I do have a note from somebody.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll enter a not guilty plea on that for Mr. Reese, and I'll send this over to October 2nd on the show cause. And it sounds like this is something that can probably get worked out between Mr. Reese, Mr. Coast, and the JSG. So assuming that happens, we can just take it off the docket if, you know, if everything is as it sounds as it is, and it's getting turned back on or is turned back on, and we get that taken care of between now and then, we just take that off the docket for
I'll do that, Judge. Hopefully I get that verification here in any minute, so, and if it is
All
back
right.
on, I'll get that off the docket.
Okay, but it sounds like just a miscommunication issue, so, you know, we just need to get that sorted out. All right, so Mr. Reese, then, your next date is gonna be a pretrial on December 4th at 8:15, and then a trial date on December 12th at 9 a.m. Court will issue a scheduling order with those dates in it. Is there anything else we need to address with this case today?
Not
No.
from the people, Your Honor.
What about you said something about October 2nd?
Oh, I'm sorry. So, yeah, October 2nd, but only if we don't get just stay in touch with Mr. Coast and he'll let you know whether you need to show up on that date or not.
Okay, how do I get in touch with Tim?
Hey, Mark, I'll meet you out in the hallway there. I'll get you my card with my phone number.
Okay,
Okay. All right, so you're all set for today.
okay, thank you.
All right, I have a jail Zoom 2 device logged in. The camera is not on that device, and the microphone is muted. So if there's someone at the jail that can hear me, I need you to turn the camera on and unmute that device.
Judge, for Mark Reese, I just got that email from JSG. He is properly being monitored at this time, so we don't need that hearing. And I'll let Mark know that.
All right, thank you. So we will not put that on the docket.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Daly, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Paulding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Paulding, you want to come forward, please?
James Daly on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
1 second. Okay, this is file 24-21893-FH. People versus Cole Lee Paulding. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, I have the attorneys place their appearance on the record. Mr. Bayonetto, is this one that you can cover?
It is, Your Honor. I'm going to be covering Ms. Wagner's cases as well this morning. So Alex Bayonetto for the people.
James Daly on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Daly, where do we stand with Mr. Paulding's case today?
Your Honor, I just recently received this case. We are still trying to get it resolved. I'm sure we're going to get it resolved, but we don't have it resolved yet. If I could have another week or 2 weeks, we should be able to get this worked out.
Okay, how about October 2nd at 8:15?
That works fine, Your Honor.
Okay, so October 2nd at 8:15. Mr. Daly, can you do that stiff and order?
I will, Your Honor.
Mr. Bayonetto, was there anything we needed to address from the people standpoint?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, then we're all set.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Lyons, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Shears?
Your Honor, I do not. Here is the one, Your Honor. I have been out the last week to 10 days. My wife and I have been fighting COVID. This is my first day kind of back up and trying to rejoin the real world. The new case was assigned to Mr. Glazier, and I have not had a chance to speak with him with regard to what they're going to do with the new case, which is the basis of the show cause of violators bond, Your Honor. So I'm respectfully going to ask to put this out a week while I talk to Mr. Glazier, visit Mr. Shearer, and FYI, right, we did get the transcript from the preliminary examination. So I'll be sharing that with Mr. Glazier as well as Mr. Shears.
All right, Mr. Bayonetto, any issue with setting this over for 1 week?
No, Your Honor. No problem.
Is that, Mr. Lyons, do you know what the status of the new case? Is that still in district court, or has that made its way to circuit court yet?
That's still in district court. Mr. Shears, has that been set for an exam?
Yes. It's been set for an exam in I think
I can look that up right now.
26th at 11 o'clock.
I would ask that we put this out beyond the 26th, Your Honor. I'll probably be there in person just as an observer, or maybe even to a second chair with Mr. Glazier if you'll have me.
I think that probably makes more sense. Oh,
That's what I was going to say, Your Honors. I think that probably makes more sense. I did speak with Ms. Arnold about this case. She did indicate that we do plan on using the new case as 404B evidence, and there may be a request for joinder at some point. So I think giving that case time to play out in district court makes more sense.
all right, so let's go with October. I'm sorry.
Is there any way I can have a breakout with Mr. Lyons?
Sure.
I certainly have no objection, Your Honor.
Yeah, 1 second. Mr. Daly, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Duff?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Duff, you want to come forward, please? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Banetto, is this one you can handle? I guess we don't have Ms. McClure here at the moment either.
That is one that I'm on, Your Honor. I'm covering
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
McClure's cases as well. Yes.
Must not have marked that one down. Okay. All right, so this is file 24-21822-FH People versus James Riley Duff. We're here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference and in person. First, let me ask the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Banetto.
Alex Bayonetto for the people.
James Daly on behalf of the defendant attorney.
All right, and Mr. Daly, where do we stand with Mr. Duff's case today?
Your Honor, Mr. Duff has resolved this problem by entering into a treatment program. He is about halfway through the treatment program right now. He has kept up with the requirements of his program. He's notified the probation officer that he is continuing to successfully complete the program. He just needs more time to complete the program. Everything else has been resolved, with the exception if he has to complete the anger management program. And he's in his, how many weeks have you been? Since May. He's been in this since May, right? And he will finish it in. I'm not sure. 6 months. Should you finish it up yet? I don't believe get it done this year or not.
Okay, Mr. Banetto, is there anything you need to address from people's standpoint?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so we set this out then to November 6th. Check in to see where we are with respect to completion at that point.
Is that it, Your Honor?
Yes, will you prepare that stipulation in order, Mr. Davis?
I will, Your Honor.
Great. Thank you. Then I think we're all set on that.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Flores?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is file 24-21845-FH People versus Raymond Flores. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we're proceeding today partially in person and partially by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys place their appearance on record, beginning with Mr. Bayonet.
Alex Bayonetto for the people.
Matthew Murphy, appearing on behalf of Mr. Raymond.
All right, Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with Mr. Raymond's case today?
Your Honor, at this time, we're asking, I'm sorry, Mr. Flores. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Flores.
We're asking for a jury trial on this matter, Your Honor. I believe, I haven't spoken with Mr. Bayonetto about it beforehand, but I'm thinking it'd be best to schedule for 2 days. if that can fit the court's schedule. That's what we're asking for at this time. The offer from the prosecution at this point is for my client to plead to 2 counts, dismiss the remaining counts. That'll be 2 counts of resisting opposing an officer. I believe that the offer would include dismissing the habitual offender status on those. So again, we are asking for continuation of a not guilty plea and the jury trial.
All right, Mr.
Your Honor.
Van, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I apologize, Your Honor. There is a co-defendant in the case. This might be a case that we would ask for joinder on. It's the same factual scenario. That case is set for trial on November 8th, but only a 1-day trial. That's with Ms. Hennigan. So it may I don't know if the court wants to set that on the same day or not. But again, that may be a case that we ask for joinder on.
Your Honor, from our understanding, Ms. Hennigan has been appointed because there was a conflict with the matter. So obviously at this point, we're probably going to object to any joinder of the cases. So, we're asking the court to find, an independent day for the jury trial on this matter. And I do believe that 2 days would be appropriate. Obviously it might get done in 1 day, from, knowing how things could go, but it could take longer. And I tend to take longer when I cross-examine individuals. But again, it's my understanding, given the situation, again, Ms. Hennigan was appointed because there's a conflict. So I'm not sure the 2 would be appropriate for joinder.
Wouldn't the conflict just be that they're co-defendants?
Yes, Your Honor. I guess that's
so. I mean that.
I understand, Your Honor.
That wouldn't be a reason in and of itself to not to grant a motion for joinder if there were one.
But obviously, it's my intention to oppose it, to object to it. So that's why I was going to ask, I guess, that be filed and get a chance to respond to that before that November date.
I'll have that filed by the end of the week, Your Honor.
All right, what I'm going to do for the moment is tentatively set it on that November 8th date. Obviously, pending whatever happens with the motion for joinder. If it's denied, we'll have to find another date. If it's granted, we'll probably also likely have to find another date because it's going to, at that point, probably take more than 1 day. So obviously, yeah, Mr. Bayanetto, the sooner we can get that issue resolved, the better, so that everybody knows what's going to happen.
And that was November 8th is a scheduled trial date for that?
Right, so November 8th. Is that 9 a.m., Mr. Bayanetto?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and do you happen to have the final pretrial date in that case?
I do. October 23rd. Your Honor, do you want to set a motion hearing at this point?
I was just looking at dates to do that. If that gets filed this week, Mr. Murphy, we have a motion hearing on October 2nd. Does that work for you?
Your Honor, October 2nd, and quite frankly, October 1st, I have argument in front of the Court of Appeals. And I know I have October 3rd as a jury trial. I think October 2nd might be free. I don't know. Yeah, I think October 2nd is free, Your Honor.
All right. So we'll set the hearing on the motion for joinder for October 2nd. At 8:15. All right, so the court will issue a scheduling order with those dates in it. Is there anything else that we need to address today?
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you, well said.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Lyons, you get a chance to speak to Mr. Shears now. Where do we stand? I think we're just trying to set another pretrial date.
Yes, sir. We were looking for a date beyond the 26th of September where the preliminary examination is scheduled.
Okay. So we can do October 2nd.
That
at
looks good to me, Judge. Mr. Shears, I'll be up to see you shortly.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lyons.
Thank you. Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Shears, you can let the officer with you know that you're done with court for today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, we're trying to contact Mr. Hall's facility to see if they can get him logged back in. I don't know what happened. Oh, you know what? He might be here now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is there anyone there in the WCC Hearings 3 room that can hear me? Ms. Underwood, I do have Davian Ryan here by Zoom. You want to speak with him?
I don't need a breakout with Mr. Ryan, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ryan, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
This is file 24-21881-FH, People versus Davian Scott Ryan. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we're proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayonetti.
Alex Bayonetti for the people.
Rhonda Underwood for Mr. Ryan today, Your Honor.
Right, and Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Ryan's case?
We're looking at a couple things, Your Honor, and I would think one more pretrial should do it. And if you could schedule that for maybe 30, 45 days out, Your Honor, that would be great.
Mr. Bayonetti, anything to address from the people's side?
No, Your Honor.
So we'll set it for October 30th at 8:15.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that date, Your Honor?
October 30th at 8:15.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The case is going to be over 90 days at that time, so I will set it for trial if there's not a resolution at that time.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. And I will do the stipulation in order with Mr. Bayonetto's permission.
Yes, that's fine.
Your Honor, does Mr. Hall have fingerprints?
Yes, he does.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, we were looking at the wrong file. You're asking about Mr. Hall, right? Yes, we do have fingerprint information for Mr. Hall.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Murphy, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Gritzmaker?
Yes, Your Honor.
So this is file 24-21843-FH. People versus Keith Dwayne Gritzmaker. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today partially in person and partially by video conference. Mr. Bayonetto, would you like to place your appearance on the record?
Alex Bayonetto for the people.
Matthew Murphy, appearing back for Mr. Gritzmaker.
All right, and Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with Mr. Gritzmaker's case today?
Your Honor, yesterday I had a conversation with the sobriety court coordinator. That was the first time that they notified me that Mr. Gritzmaker was accepted and qualified for sobriety court down in district court. I was going to ask to adjourn this just briefly, maybe 1 week or two. Mr. Gritzmaker has a pending traffic outstanding case downstairs. I wanted to get him arraigned on that today and get that going and talk to the prosecutor about that case and encompassing that with a plea offer on this. Again, I apologize for not having done that prior to this morning. But again, that's what I was asking for today. Also, I don't know if we could possibly, because there's a new charge going on downstairs, if there's going to be any issue with his bond up here, if that could be taken care of today. Obviously, I just want to give Mr. Gritzmaker, he needs to move along and get to his job today. He's working quite frankly all the time. So I was hoping if that was something that's going to be outstanding, if that could be processed today as well, and we could deal with that.
I don't think we have anything outstanding right now on his bond conditions. I am aware that he has some new warrants in district court. How far out were you looking at setting that, Mr. Murphy?
I could do 1 week, Your Honor, so whatever fits the court's schedule best, if that's okay with the prosecution.
We have no.
Your Honor, my client's indicating he would ask for a longer time to arrange it for work, unless he was able to zoom in, that he could do it next week. He just needs to have more prior notice in order to arrange it for work.
All right. I believe the reason for the in-person appearance was the district court warrant. So if those are getting taken care of, I don't have any issue with Zoom.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I do have complications. I've got a 3-week trial starting next week, and that's going to make it difficult to have my normal number of pre-trials. So,
yes, Your Honor.
Let's go with October 2nd at 8:15.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Murphy, will you do the stipulation in order for that adjournment?
I will, Your Honor. And I'm going to walk Mr. Gritzmaker down to district court right now to get that misdemeanor thing taken care of.
All right, we are all set with this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Dately, we have Randy Torres here from the jail. All right, so this is file 23-21668-FH, 22-20820-FH, and 22-20819-FH, People versus Randy Torres. The 22 cases have probation violations pending. The 23 case is a pretrial conference on new charges. First, can I have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayoneto?
Sorry, Your Honor, I thought this was Mr. Hartong's case. Alex Bayoneto for the people.
James Daly on behalf of the defendant, Chair.
Okay, and Mr. Daly, where do we stand with Mr. Torres's cases today?
Well, Mr. Torres has been to the forensic center, he's been evaluated. He can now plead, do what he wants. I have worked out a resolution with this matter. I've discussed it with Mr. Torres. The only problem is that Mr. Torres is under the mistaken impression that there are going to be certain agencies that are going to make a favorable recommendation to him. I have contacted those agencies. They are not doing that. They're not going to make a recommendation. I'm going to go talk to Mr. Torres again and again tell him that this matter is best be resolved. I've made that recommendation, but again, he wanted me to contact these different agencies, which have been contacted, and I'm going to assist him in contacting this court and require and providing him any assistance. So based upon that, I would ask to have this matter set for trial. Give me another opportunity to see if I can resolve this with Mr. Torres.
Okay, Mr. Bayanetto, do you have a sense of how many days of trial we're going to need?
This would be the 23-21668 case?
Correct.
I would think 1 day, Your Honor. I only see 2 witnesses.
Okay, Mr. Dale, you agree 1 day would be sufficient?
Well, I think we do it a half a day, depending upon how quick we can draw a jury.
Okay. Let's set it for a full day just to make sure we have enough time. So, Ms. Clark, could you find us a 1 day jury trial date, please?
Thursday, November 7th at 9 a.m.
That would work with Mr. Sneed's calendar.
Works for mine too.
That was November 7th,
That's correct.
9 a.m. And do a final pretrial on October 30th at 8:15. And we'll set the other two, the other two, the probation violations, we'll just set those for a pretrial at the same time.
Thank you.
And we'll issue a schedule. All right, Mr. Torres, you are all set. You can let the officer that's with you know that you're done with court for today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, I think we can go back on the record briefly with Mr. Hall. I have some additional information about him at this point.
Your Honor, I think Ms. Underwood's in Judge Angela.
Oh, I've got it.
Did you leave her Zoom on?
Yeah. All right, we'll just wait till she gets back here.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, maybe, do we want to address Lori Williams or Barry Ellison?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just gonna do Mr. Ellison next, so just file 23-21655-FH, People versus Barry Deshaun Ellison II. We're here today for a pretrial conference. In this case, we are proceeding today by video conference and also in person. First, let me have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayanetto.
Alex Bayanetto for the people.
Matthew Murphy, appearing on behalf of Mr. Ellison.
All right, and Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with Mr. Ellison's case today?
Your Honor, I was speaking with Ms. Wagner about this yesterday. Mr. Ellison, he's in the forensic center, I believe. If I can see here in the notes, I think it was in we got it August 1st, the placement recommendation hospital admission for competency restoration treatment. We got it on August first. I don't know if the court has that in its file. Also, I don't know, that was the last communication we got. I think Ms. Wagner had tried to communicate and see if there was an update to be given from the Forensic Center. But I haven't gotten an update from them since his placement on August 1st. That's my understanding is in there. And, so I think at this point, all we can do is adjourn the case. I did want to point out that, and I spoke with Ms. Wagner about this as well. The statute, obviously gives the court, or that gives a time of 15 months from the date of the order put in place, as that's the effect of the order keeping him in custody. But that statute also says that it's 15 months or 1/3 of the maximum possible penalty time, whichever is lesser. In this matter, I think that may put Mr. Ellison's timeframe sometime in October. I'm not 100% sure, but if we could set a review date late October, early November, I think at that point we can see what the situation is best. And again, if that is past statutory time, I'll file something, or Mr. Wagner might do something at that point.
By my look at it, that date would be October 23rd, would be the 8-month duration.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I did, you may not have seen it yet, Mr. Murphy, at 8:30 a.m. Ms. Wagner forwarded some information, an email correspondence with the Forensic Center. It just indicates that the treatment period expires on, says October 25th, 2024. The report on competency will be issued on or before October 15th, 2024. That's substantially all of it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah.
So
I neglected to check my email this morning, so thank you, Your Honor.
Understandable, it just came in while you were probably sitting in your report, so. All right, so they indicate that a report will be prepared by the October 15th. So why don't we set this for a hearing on October 23rd?
Yes, Your Honor.
At 8:15 a.m. Mr. Murphy, would you be willing to do that stipulation in order?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And I apologize, Your Honor, I didn't know if your court received our communication about Ms. Williams.
My understanding is that was just going to be adjourned because they wouldn't log her in at the facility.
Yeah, I don't know if I placed it on the record or not.
I don't need to. If you would like to, I can have to do that.
No, we don't need to, Your Honor. Thank you.
As long as you've got a stick in North Company, that's fine.
Yeah, so we'll prepare that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
And that's all that I had scheduled. I'm gonna go over to Judge Angelo's. I'll just be over there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Sir, Mr. Madrid here. Mr. Madrid, we're waiting on your attorney, Mr. Malero. He usually does his cases over in Judge Angelo's court first. So as soon as he gets here, we'll call your case.
Your Honor, while we're waiting for Mr. Milaro and Ms. Underwood, I'm just gonna step out just for a second. I'll be right back.
We can do the Torres case. This is file 23-21533-FH People versus Julian Dominic Torres. We are here today for a hearing on an order or summons for probation violation. Is there Julian Dominic Torres present in the courtroom? No one has responded. I would also note that Mr. Torres is not logged into the Zoom session at this point. So Mr. Torres was ordered to appear in response to a summons for probation violation this morning at 8:15 a.m. It is now 9:17 a.m. and Mr. Torres has not appeared either by being present in person or by logging into the Zoom session. I am going to, at this point, issue a bench warrant for his arrest for the failure to appear and set bond on that bench warrant in the amount of $10,000 cash or surety. All right, Ms. Underwood, I have some further information on Mr. Hall if you want to go back on the record.
I'm sorry.
I have some additional information on Mr. Hall, so we can go back on the record for his case. So we're back on, or I guess we hadn't been on the record yet. So this is file 24-21859-FH People versus Heath Michael Hall. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this hearing, in this matter, and I'm sorry, Mr. Bayonetto had just told me that he stepped away from his desk for a moment, so we need to wait.
Thank you.
Ms. Underwood, have you heard from Ms. Pawson?
Ms. Pawson, I believe, is downstairs in another court, Your Honor. I met with her and she was very concerned that she was in two courts. And I told her that I would make the court aware if she wasn't up here yet.
I'm back, Your Honor, whenever.
Oh,
Sorry,
all
sorry, I
right.
didn't
So,
see anything. Back.
yeah, we are in the process of calling the People versus Heath Michael Hall, 24-21859-FH. Mr. Bayanetto, you want to place your appearance on the record?
Alex Bayanetto for the People.
Ron, I'll do it for Mr. Hall this morning, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Hall is not present. He was present by Zoom earlier this morning from his MDOC facility and had a breakout session with Ms. Underwood. At some point, the device dropped out of the meeting. Francis contacted the facility where Mr. Hall is located, and they advised her that they had to go into lockdown mode, and so that is why they logged him out of the meeting, and they have not logged back in. We haven't been able to have any real communication with them other than that. So it doesn't sound to me as though we're going to have Mr. Hall back here this morning.
Your Honor, we were going to request one more pretrial in this matter, Your Honor. I almost am tempted to ask the court to bring Mr. Hall in person, just because I know if I go to visit him, I'm not going to be allowed to take in my laptop and show him any video.
Okay.
And if I had a pretrial here, I could of course do that in the back.
Okay.
Does that seem like a reasonable?
Yeah, I have no issue if you need to have him here in person in order to review evidence that is certainly reasonable. So why don't we set it for October 16th at 8:15? And Mr. Bayanetto, could you make sure we have an in-person writ for him on that day?
Yes, Your Honor. That was the 16th?
Correct.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. I'll put that in right now.
All right. And Ms. Underwood, could you do the stip in order for the?
I will do the stip in order. Your Honor, if we're going to do that, just might it be better to do it not on a Wednesday morning? So if I need to speak to him for some time. Actually,
Yeah, was there a day you preferred to even do that, Thursday or Friday?
like a Thursday or Friday morning?
So hang on, Mr. Bayanetto, we're changing the date here. So how about October 17th at 8:15?
Thank you, Your Honor.
That would work, Your Honor.
Okay, so October 17th at 8:15. Okay, anything else on that one?
Nothing else on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe you have a pickup.
Nope,
No,
must be somebody else.
thank you.
Just let me know when you have Ms. Clausen ready to come up here, okay?
I'm sorry.
Just come back when you have
I'll check on
Ms.
Ms.
Clausen is done downstairs. Good morning, Mr. Lindsay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep. Okay, so your attorney, Mr. Malaro, is handling some cases in another courtroom right now. So I'm just going to put you back in the waiting room, and as soon as he's here and we're ready to start your case, I'll bring you back in.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, sir.
Okay, Mr. Malero, we have, Mr. Madrid is here in the courtroom. Well, I can send him out to the iPad if you need to speak to him.
Yes, please, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Madrid, if you want to step outside, there's an iPad just around the corner in the hallway. I will bring that device into the meeting and then I'll put you in a breakout session with Mr. Malero. Okay, Mr. Madrid, give me just 1 second here.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Madrid, you want to come forward and stand at the podium, please? All right, this is file 24-21882-FH People versus Reese G. Madrid. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today both in person and by video conference. First, can I have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayonetto.
Alex Bayonetto for the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Louis Madrid.
All right, and where do we stand with Mr. Madrid's case today, Mr. Malero?
Judge, still in the process of evaluating the case, and my notes say there might be an OWI charge coming, though I need to find out if that's the case or not. So I'd ask to adjourn this one time.
Mr. Malaro, it looks like that case was authorized. I don't know if it's been filed with the district court yet.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we can adjourn this then until October 16th at 8:15.
Sounds good, Your Honor.
Mr. Malero, will you do that step in order, please?
I would be happy to, Judge.
So, Mr. Madrid, your next day is going to be October 16th at 8:15. You can attend in person as you did here today, or if you prefer, you can attend by Zoom if you want to do that.
All right, I'll be in person.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just so Mr. Madrid knows, that actually has been filed with the district court, so he may want to stop down there on his way out. Looks like there's the warrant was filed, and he had failed to appear for arraignment, so he may want to stop down there.
Okay, thank you.
And then Mr. Malero, I have Mr. Lindsay here. Do you need a breakout session with him?
Do not, Judge.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is file 24-21749-FH People versus Jason Floyd Lindsay. We are here today for a pretrial conference. In this case, we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayonetto.
Alex Bayonetto for the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Jason Lindsay.
All right, Mr. Malero, where do we stand with Mr. Lindsay's case today?
Judge, we're still hopeful for a resolution in this matter, but at this point in time, we're going to ask to set the matter for a jury trial.
All right, how many days are you going to need for a trial?
It could go 2 days.
I think 2 is accurate.
Okay, Ms. Clark, can you find us a 2-day jury trial date?
December 3rd at 9 a.m. and December 4th at 10:30.
That's good, Judge.
That works, Your Honor.
Okay, let's do a final pretrial then on November 27th at 8:15 a.m. All right, the court will issue a scheduling order. Is there anything else we need to address with this case today?
Judge, I
No,
know
Your
there's a contempt for possible missed PBTs, but Mr. Lindsay has been on PBTs now for quite a while. I don't believe there's any actual positive readings. We'd ask the court to consider eliminating the requirement or modifying it so perhaps once a week or so.
All right, Mr. Coast, do you have any input on the PBT issue for Mr. Lindsay?
Back in July, Judge, we had 10 consecutive missed PBTs. He did get hooked up with the sober length. However, he did let that expire to where it was turned off due to non-payment. He did take up the kiosk again. I did check that the other day. That has been good. I mean, my suggestion was that we actually continue with the PBTs though, because I'd like to see some consistency.
All right, I think given that, I'm going to continue with the PBTs as they are now for the time being.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Malero?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lindsay, you can log out. Your next date's going to be the final pretrial on November 27th at 8:15.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You can log out then. And Mr. Malero, we have contacted the jail regarding Mr. Stevens, and they said it might be a few minutes. They're dealing with an issue over there.
All right, I'll wait, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor, was there a waiver filed on Lewis Adams?
That got moved over to Judge Anzalon's court because I had to disqualify from his cases.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Malero, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Stevens?
Yes, please.
Okay, are we ready to go on the record?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is file 24-21943-FH, People versus Patrick Allen Stevens. We are here today for an arraignment in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, can I have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Banetto.
Alex Bayonet for the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Patrick Stevens.
All right, and Mr. Malero, does Mr. Stevens wish to have the information read?
Your Honor, at this time, we would waive the reading of the information, waive any defects of the time and place of service. As to counts 1 and 2, Mr. Stevens would stay in mute. Further, we'd acknowledge the habitual offender fourth notice and the witness list. We'd ask the court to set the matter for a pretrial.
All right, I will enter not guilty plea for Mr. Stevens and set a pretrial conference for October 16th at 8:15 a.m.
Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Stevens is awaiting entry into Veterans Court in Allegan County. His sentencing for that case is October 14th. Is it possible to schedule this before that and see if we can't speed this along a little? Because this is highly resolvable.
Okay, we can do October 2nd.
That'd be good, Judge. That'd be great.
So October 2nd at 8:15.
All right, I'll try to have this worked out by then, Judge. I appreciate it.
Okay, anything else with this case today?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stevens. You can let the officer that's with you know that you're done with court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I believe that's it for me, Your Honor. Let's see.
I believe it is. We do have a pretrial on a PPO, but I don't think we need you here for that, Mr. Bayonetto, unless you want to be here for that, because we might set a trial date on it.
I'll hang out. And then if you don't need me, I'll log out.
Okay.
Am I on that PPO, Judge?
No, that is Ms. Underwood's.
Oh, ooh, scared me for a second.
No, you are all set as far as I know.
Okay, well, thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.